Hi guys, this is the final part of how to make the character customization. Finally, I've come to the final part of the character customization series, and the first thing for that we need to do is in replicated storage, we have to insert a remote event. This remote event we're gonna call getHat. And then what we need to do all the way down here is we want to add another script, which we will call equipHat. Now the script will have a few lines of code. Game.replicatedStorage.getHat.onServerEvent connect function plr, name. And then we'll get a variable for the character plr.character. And then we're just basically gonna check if not char : find first child name. Then so basically if it doesn't find something of name in the character, so assuming the name of the accessory, then that means we can equip it. So local hat equals to game.replicatedStorage.hats etc. name : clone hat.parent equals to char else local hat equals to char name hat : destroy. The boring but very important bit, in case you want to actually learn how this works, is basically at some point we'll make a button so that getHat will fire. Then that means that this part will be received. It received the player that did so and the name that will be sent with it. Then we just get the character, so the character of the player that fired this. And then we're just gonna check if it finds something of name in the character, so we would hope that would be an accessory. Then we would create an variable for what that hat would be in case the player does not already have it equipped. It just basically clones it out of replicated storage, hats, etc. and parents it into the character, which equips him the accessory. But if it already finds the accessory in the player, then it just destroys it to unequip it. Let's get to the final thing. Inside the GUI character customization GUI, in the selection bar we have a frame, and in here we're gonna basically just duplicate the shirt selection and call it hat selection. And then we are gonna open up the local script in here and just change shirt here for hat. And then due to we having duplicated the shirt selection, we're gonna copy this line, paste it into here, and swap out pants for shirt. We open the shirt selection local script, paste it in here, and instead of pants use hat. And in the pants and color selection we will do so the same, that we would make the hat selection invisible. Now the final thing left to do is basically just duplicating here the pants selection frame and calling it hat selection. And then what we basically just want to do is we would just want to change in the local script in here that instead of us firing off the change shirt with this URL, we want to say change hat and actually get hat. And we, instead of this URL, we just want to do script.parent.name, meaning that instead of these being called pants per se, we would here have, let's say, chef hat. So we copy that name and name this. So now that this would be called chef hat, if we click this button we would get equipped a chef hat. And let's as well use the Doge accessory as I have mine. This is like the only part where it's actually important that we name these accurately. So be sure that you don't accidentally spell any of this different, because that would be quite problematic and would make that this When we load in, we can see that the whole menu still works flawlessly. There appears to be a slight problem with the title. That's just because I apparently didn't actually name it correctly. Now, as we can see, we and equip the chef hat, and I need to do like this. But there appears to be one problem with equipping the Doge hat, or the Doge accessory being, oh yeah, I forgot to change the local script in here. Don't do that mistake. And that should be all. And as we can see, that is pretty much everything to make the to finish off the character customization menu that saves. As we can see, we can and equip the Doge hat. It works that we can close this, we can open one of these and open another one. It doesn't still have one of the menus open. We can toggle them, and you can as well have multiple accessories, and that is pretty much it. This is the final part of how to make a character customization menu in Roblox Studio. I'm ddoelker, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! And if you're wondering, I won't beg you in this part to subscribe, because I'm just so happy I can finally make other tutorials. Subscribing would be very much appreciated though.